Hi guys, welcome to my tutorials. So today's class we're going to be making a pencil sketch. What we'll be needing is this pattern paper and your tape rule, your pencil, your rulers. I'm using both my straight and curvy ruler, okay? And also your pin. You will need a pin, very important. So first thing first, what you need to do is to fold your pattern paper into two. So you fold it into two. This class is going to be long because after cutting our patterns, we're going to be transferring it into our fabric. We're going to be sewing it from scratch to finish, from concept to completion. So it's going to be a long video. Okay. So after folding your pattern paper, so this is our pattern paper, it's folded. So now what we need to do next is to get our, our starting line. So our starting line, I'm going to be measuring half an inch at the top of our pattern paper, half an inch on both sides, okay? And then you rule. Your starting point is very important. Always don't just start from the top, okay? Don't just start from the top. Have a starting point. Half an inch is okay, because this is what you're going to be sewing in as you're sewing along. So it's not just there for fancy. Okay. All right. So the next point, so this is our waistline. Also our starting point, our waistline as well. So the next thing we're going to be taking next is our hip line. So our hip line, for the sake of this class, I'm going to be doing 9. Some people do 8, depending on how tall you are. So I'm going to be doing 9. Okay, so I'm taking it round so I can have a straight line. I don't want to be assuming measurement or, because I'm teaching beginners, so you need to be very careful. So now you rule the lines. These are my straight lines. So this is my hip line. I'm going to be writing it anyways. So now the next thing we're going to be doing is our skirt length. Our skirt length is 23. Okay, so this is 23. This is 23. And then 23. Okay, and then you rule a straight line. Okay, you rule a straight line. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to impute our waistline, our waist measurement. So our waist measurement is 28. So 28. So whatever measurement you're having here, you're taking here, the measurement we need, I forgot to tell you people from the beginning. So the measurements we need when you're making a basic pencil skirt, short one for that matter, the measurement you'll be needing is your waist measurement, hip measurement, round knee measurement, and also the length of the skirt. So now, and you're going to be dividing every measurement by 4, because as you can see, this piece is folded into 2. The back as well will be folded into 2, which is 4. 1, 2, then 3, 4. Excuse me, for the back as well. So whatever you're doing, you divide it by 4. I hope I'm not rushing it. I hope I'm not rushing you guys. So now we're going to take our waist measurement. Our waist measurement is 28. So 28 divided by 4. I don't like using my calculator. I prefer to use my tape rule, because whatever I have, I'll just place it straight. So this is 28, right? You place 28 here. You divide it by 2 first. Then you divide 14 again by 2, which is 7. So it will give you 7. So you mark 7 here plus 1.5 inch allowance. I like using 1.5 inch allowance. Then for our hip measurement is 44. So 44 divided by 4. Let me do it for you to see. So this is 44, right? 22. Then you divide 22 by 4. By 2, sorry, 11. So 44 divided by 4 is 11. So you place it here, okay? And then your 1.5 inch. Now for the knee round, whatever you have on your hip, you minus 7 from it. So my hip is 44. So if you minus 7 from 44, it will give you 37. So 37 divided by 4. So this is 37. This is 37. Right? So you divide 37 by 4. So it will give you 9.25. So you mark your 9.25, then 1.5 inch. Now, before we start the curving of the skirt, there's something I want you guys to understand. Whatever the measurement that we have on this hip line, okay, you bring it to the waistline and also the skirt length, okay? So let's see, let's just take it at once. So we have 12.75, 12.75. This is to enable us have a straight line. 12.75. This is to enable us have a straight line. It's not like we're using it, no. It's just a guide to have a straight line. You see what I'm doing. You see what I'm doing here. It's just to help us have a guide, 12.75. So this is it. So it's like, we just took our hip just to have a guide, a straight line. So now this is what I want to do. This is why I rule this line. In order for us to shape our hip line very, very well. That is why I did that. So on this hip line, you come up by 1 inch. Okay. You come up by 1 inch. All right. Then on the same hip line, you come down by 2 inch. So we're trying to carve out our hip line. I don't just want you to do, use your curve ruler, because before you know it will be giving you this bulge, it will be bulging out on your hip, those pointed hip something. That thing is not cool at all. So now let's connect our lines. So you come to this place. I don't want to use the straight ruler because we're not too straight like that. Our body is a little bit curvy, some parts of it. So now we're going to connect these lines together. I'm going to bring it to this 1 inch that I took up. Okay. You see our skirt is taking shape already. So now on this 2 inch now, you bring it, you connect it to this line. This one we're using a straight ruler. This one has to be straight, sharp. Okay. So this is what we're doing. Now we need to get our curve right, just to shape it so it won't be too, face. You guys are seeing, right? So that is it for the front. So then the last thing we're going to do is our dart measurement. So in order for you to get your dart, your nipple to nipple divided by 2. Okay, so for the sake of this class, my nipple to nipple divided by 2 is 4. My nipple to nipple is 8, so divided by 2 is 4. So we'll mark 4 here, and then mark 4. This is 4, right? And then you come down. The length of the dart is 5.5, 5.5, and then you mark a straight line. Mark a straight line. Okay, and then on both sides, you go in by 1/2 inch on both sides. You go in by 1/2 inch on both sides, and then you connect these lines. This is our dart line. So my hand wasn't straight. Alright. So this is our dart line. Okay. So this is our waistline, the hip line, and then the skirt line. Okay. So yeah, when we're shaping this was an error. I don't have my cleaner here. So we're done with the front pattern, and then now we'll move to the back pattern. This is the back. So you see my pattern paper. You see how I'm folding it. Now this time for the front, it was like this. The folded parts will be here because at the front of the skirt there's no opening, so we're using this side. But for the back, we have the zip, we have slit as well, all of that. So we're going to be using this open part as our starting point. Okay. So now you arrange your pattern paper very well. So don't forget our waistline, which is our starting point. Our waistline. Okay. And then waistline. Then you will connect both lines together. Very, very important. And then the next thing we're going to be doing is to go in by 2 inch. Go in by 2 inch. Okay. 2 inch. Going by 2 inch. And then you connect. Connect all lines. I'll show you the reason why we went in by 2 inch. Okay. All right. So we've prepared our back pattern. So what you need to do now is to bring the front pattern to the back, and then make sure you connect the lines, because see, this one is already connected. So this is our hip line, connecting our hip line. And then also always make sure you pin your pattern, especially the back and the front. When you're working on the back and the front, make sure you pin it down so it doesn't move, because any movement that or any shift, it will shift your hip or waist or something. So make sure you pin it down so everything will be accurate. Okay, so we've pinned. Yeah, we've pinned. So the next thing we'll do is to get our butts, shape. Okay. Now, this measurement, I said I was going to tell you guys the reason why I went in by 2 inches. Now, this is to create a shapy back for us. You don't just sew skirt and then it will be straight. We are curvy. We have butts, you understand? So this is for us to arrange. This will help us to arrange our butt very well, for the fittings to come out very well, as if it's a glue. Like, when you put on the skirt, you see how it fits so well, everything is coming out well. So in order for us to get that, you come out by 0.75 on the waistline. Okay. 0.75. 0.75. Then here you come out by 1.5. Yeah, 0.75. Then here you come out by 0.25. I'm sorry. You come out 0.25, because you don't want to do 0.75. That was a mistake. It will have this bulge. So 0.25 is okay. Then again, from the hip line, you come down by 4.5. Okay, because we're doing hip 45, 44, right? For hip 44 is okay. You go down by 4.5 is okay. But if you're doing hip like 50, 50 something, those extra hip, you can go down by 5.5. But for this hip 44, 42, 38, 40, this 0.5 is okay. So now let's connect our lines, okay? So let's connect our lines. The hip line, come down. Okay. So now here, let me use the straight ruler. So here now, let me use this one. So straight. I told you our body is not that straight like that, so there should be a little bit of curve. So now we'll go down, we'll connect this line, we'll connect this line. Now at this point, there's a sharp object, sharp point. We don't need that, so I'll just use my free hand to, remove the sharp edge. I hope you guys can see. So I'm just doing a free hand to remove just that sharp, we don't need that. We don't need that. So that is it for the back pattern. You see that I had to place the front to the back, connect the lines, get my measurement on this back part, and then that's all you need to do. So we're going to be notching. I'll still come back to the back that I've not done that yet. So let's cut. So let's cut. So cut the back first. You see what I told you? Very important. Please pin. Okay. So it doesn't run from each other. So we can get our measurement straight. Right? Okay, so this is it. So you come to this place, you notch. Notching is very important. It's a guide. When you're sewing, it helps you not to mix, things up. It shows you like, okay, well, this is hip, this is the waist, So now, so we're cutting the back and the front all together. The back and the front piece together. You see? You see how this side is? There's no sharp edge, there's no pointing hip, it goes well. And then you notch. Okay? You notch. You notch. I didn't carry the back. Okay. So, and then you come to this point, the dots, then you notch. Okay? So, yeah, this is our pattern for our skirts, pencil skirts. I hope you guys understand. So now let's do the back darts. So the back darts, would have as well just leave it like this, but the back, the front dart is 5.5 long, but for the front is 5.5. Sorry, the front is 5.5 long, but for the back, okay, the back is going to be 4.5. The front is always longer than the back. Please don't forget. 1 inch longer than the back, than the front. Oh, yeah, 1 inch longer than the back. So you connect, and then on both sides, you go in by half an inch, half an inch, half an inch. And then you connect your lines. Okay. My pencil mouth is not sharp, so I'm having difficulties. But it's okay. So here, this is our pattern for our pencil skirt. If you know how to make this skirt very well, you can make anything, like anything at all. And the blouse as well will come to that. So thank you guys for watching. The next thing we're going to do is to transfer this our pattern paper to our fabric. That's what we're going to be doing. So, I told you guys we're not just cutting, we're also going to be sewing it, transferring. I'm going to be showing you guys on how you transfer it to your fabric, the estee you're going to be using, and also the sewing process. It's a full tutorial class for my beginner students. So, this is what we're going to be needing. I'm using this Ankara. You need about 2 yards of Ankara to achieve this skirt. 2 yards is enough. Ankara is by 45, so 2 yards is enough. Mine wasn't enough. That was why I didn't show you guys. So I had to prepare this stuff. But it's 2 yards because I've used from it. That's why you see it in pieces like this. So you need Ankara and of course your lining. You need your lining. Very important. And also your stay. This is a cotton stay. Okay. Stay is very important when you're making skirt like this, except if the client says she doesn't want Estee, she wants it very light because Estee makes it firm, kind of thick and authentic. You understand? And then, of course, your zip. That's all you need for the sake of this class. So we're going to be cutting, transferring our pattern to our fabric. Okay. So let's get started. We'll start with the fabric. I might not show you the lining parts. I'll just show you how I placed it here. It's nothing difficult at all. How I placed it on the main fabric just to save time, just to save your time. So we'll place it on our main fabric, but please make sure you iron. Ironing is very important, okay? Make sure you iron. I'm trying to plug my iron because I've ironed it, but I need to iron it again for you to see because it's not straight. I had to do some of this ironing off camera, but make sure you iron. Don't wait till you finish your outfit before you iron. Me personally, if there's no light, I can't even cut at all. I cut with light. As I'm cutting, I'm ironing. As I'm cutting, I'm ironing. It's very, very extremely important. So now we'll start with the front pattern. Okay, so this is my front pattern. See, we have to manage our fabric. You iron, press it down. You iron, press it down. So this is my front pattern. Yeah, but I want to flip it to the other side. Not because of anything, but because of this down part. Okay, I want this down part, this is what I'm going to be folding inside so I don't chop it off. So I don't chop it off. So I'm just going to be flipping it just for the sake of this down. There's nothing more. Okay. So this is it. Let me shift my iron. This is it. So you need a steam iron, very hot iron. Do manage iron, please. So this is it. I've placed my fabric and always make sure you have pins around you because this one we're doing now, we're transferring the pattern to our fabric. So you pin it down. Very important. Get enough pin as you can. It's not expensive, you know. So you just pin it down so it doesn't shift. So your hip will not be shifting one side. And then that's all. Then we'll cut. And please don't forget, there's something I forgot to drag to you people's attention. When you're cutting Ankara and you want to know the back of the Ankara, you check the print here. Now this one is the front, because so I cut on the front. This is the back. So when that's why I told you that I don't want to cut this place off. So when I'm putting my stay, I will know, because this Ankara is a good Ankara, it's both back and front. But if you check closely, there's a slight difference in it. So when you're putting your stay, you will know which part to put. Okay. But aside that, after cutting it, what I normally do, I still use my chalk, okay, to like chalk it. It will tell me it will just indicate that this is the back. Okay, so I'll chalk it, you know that this is the back. Okay, so that's all we'll do. And sorry, I told you, please always notch. So I had to remove it before. See, so you notch. Let me just chalk it and then notch it. All right, so you see, this is our darts. You notch. Very important. So we're done with the front pattern. So let's move to the back. So for the back, I told you that, okay, yeah, so I told you that my fabric is not enough. So this is what we're doing for the back. So we're just managing the fabric. I was so lucky that it's even enough. So this is the back of our pattern. Don't forget, pin it down. Okay. Pin it. Very important. Very, very important. So after cutting this one, I'm going to be cutting the lining behind the camera. It's the same thing. So I don't bore you guys. It's the same thing. I'm not doing anything extra. Even if I forget anything, I'll come back and I'll tell you guys how to go about it or what I forgot. And then I'll bring it back to you guys notice. So I'm not going to do anything behind the camera, okay? Because I'm not perfect, even if I forget anything, I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to bring it to you guys notice. So when you're cutting, put your hand like this. Okay. And then the last one. Cut. And then don't forget to notch. Very important. So, like I said earlier, I'm going to be cutting the stay and the lining. Same thing. Just imagine you're cutting the lining like this. Even the stay is the same thing because we are doing a full padding. Okay, both on the stay and the lining. We're going to be putting stay on the lining and also the main fabric. All right, so we're going to be transferring our fabric to the stay. This stay now, it has two sides, right? So the smooth side is a good face. This one has no gum. The smooth side has no gum. But you see this rough side is the one with gum. This is the one that will stick to the fabric, that you gum to the fabric. Do you understand? This is the one that you will gum to the fabric. So we're going to be cutting it, and also I'm going to be showing you guys how I ironed it. I'm not going to do it behind the camera. So I'm going to be showing you guys, but it's the same way we cut the pattern, the lining, the fabric. It's the same thing, right? The same thing we're going to be cutting. Okay, all right. This is the stay. So if you notice now, let me show you guys because this part is very important. This is a rough face. This is the face that will gum. So that's where I'm using as my front distance. So I folded it into four, right? I folded it into four because I'm cutting the front. I'm going to be needing for the lining and also the fabric. So that's why I folded it into four. It will just give me, this is the front piece. So it will just give me both for the front and the back. Sorry. And the lining and let me place it this way. The fabric and the lining. Okay, so that's what it will give me. So that's why I folded it into four. So now let's cut. I told you there's nothing, you see. So we're doing full padding because it's a short skirt. So we're doing full padding. Normally, if I'm making a long dress and I'm using Ankara, except if I'm using velvet, okay, I'll do full padding. But if it's Ankara, I don't need full padding. I don't need full padding. I'll just do on the hip line. I'll just do on the hip line. But this is a short dress, so it's okay. But we're doing full. So you see, I have two. After cutting it, it's two. So I'm using one for the Ankara, and I'm using the second one for the lining. Okay. So one for this, one for this. So that's that. So we're going to be cutting the back. I finished cutting the back. So this is the back of the skirt. So you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? This is the back. So we're using 2 for the main fabric and then 2 for the lining. Remember, I told you that the rough part is what we're going to be ironing. So you look for it and then, okay. Now we're going to iron. So I want to arrange it. So this is the rough part. That's what we're going to iron. This one that is sticking to the fabric. This soft one, it will be up. So if you want to make sure that you don't want to waste too much of your time, ironing, all you need to do after arranging it, this is the first one because see, this is the true lining. This is the back. So I joined everything together because I want to iron, right? The back side to the back side. So now I'll pin after placing my stay. I'll pin it. Then flip it to the other side so that I'll just iron everything at once. Do you get me? So this one, I'll pin as well. I'm just pinning before I iron. I don't want to be ironing it one by one by one. It will waste our time. So that's how I even do when I'm making clothes. I pin them together and then I just iron once, So this is the lining. I'll do the same thing. Keep this one aside. I'll do the same thing to the main fabric for the back. Push pin for the back of the dress. And then the next thing we need to do, I've done the back. Let's iron. So I like using this net, okay? Because I don't want this iron to burn my outfits, my dress. So I'll just use the iron, place it on it. Yeah. Because sometimes these irons can misbehave. So I use this net to iron. I always use the net to iron, even if the iron is not burning my clothes. I use it to iron because of stains, especially when I'm doing white outfits. Are you seeing? Right? You turn this one to the other side, and then you iron. I forgot to, I did not forget anyways. I'm going to join the lining and the fabric together. I was supposed to do it together, but nothing spoiled because this ST, you need patience. You don't just rub it like that and you think it has ironed. No, you take your time, right? So now I've placed everything. So I'm ironing everything at once. So now this is it. And then make sure the steam enters it very well. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry because it takes time for this. You think you finish ironing it, you see the ST coming out, So make sure you're very intentional when you're ironing. Very, very intentional. That's why I wanted to do this thing at once. Because sometimes you iron the first one, you think you are good, but you see the ST coming out. So you need to really, really iron it very well so it to stick to it, you know. You see what I'm doing? This is how you put your ST. Okay, so guys, we are done, almost done ironing. So yeah, we're done. So the next thing, this is the front piece. So this is the front piece. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to trim out all these excesses of the ST out. We're going to trim it out. This is the front piece, and then also this is the back piece, properly ironed. So we're going to trim out all the excesses. That's all for the cutting. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to go to our sewing machine.